What is going on, everyone? Sam here from Lake Pro Tackle. Before we get the video going, guys, I want to say big thank you to all the vendors and people that showed up to the Small Business Showcase this past Saturday and Sunday. So big shout out to y'all. We greatly appreciate all the support. If you didn't make it, guys, you missed out on so many cool giveaways, prizes, raffles, promotions here at the store, as well as checking out the small businesses. And in this video, we're going to be taking a look at one of the small businesses. You make some hard baits, some big swim baits, some little swim baits. We're going to be taking a look at Bentbill Custom Lures. He has the Bender series of swim baits. We're going to be diving into that. And I'll tell you what, guys, they work extremely well. If you're worried about going out there with a big swim bait or even like a little swim bait, worried about overworking it or not working it enough or just not working it correct at all, let me tell you, I was literally on the water for about 2.5 hours on Sunday after the show. Didn't take me long to catch a 5-pounder. And I mean, in terms of the amount of use that I put in that 2 hours, I was able to learn a lot of different stuff, not only on the water on Sunday by myself, but also Travis was here showing me exactly kind of how he designed each of these, how each of them worked. We're going to be running over that in this video here. So I will let you know, we will have 4 models of the Bentbill Custom Lures swim baits in the shop. Kicking it off with the little bender here. So the little bender is going to be 5 inches. Hopefully get a little bit of the glare off there. Little bender, 5 inches, and it is going to weigh just under an ounce. Now you're gonna notice on these baits here, they are very, what's the right word for this? Very simple in the fact that they just work. And that is what Travis really wants in his glide baits, his swim baits, is he just wants them to work. So there's no extra, crazy little things that will make it look better or anything like that. He literally hand carves, hand sands each and every single one of these baits, and each one isn't tested and tuned to be a specific sink rate or anything like that. He is tuning it to the action that he wants this bait to achieve, which I think is really unique. Not a lot of builders out there really focus on the actual swimming as well as just actual versatility of the lures. Some notable things about his baits, again, they're going to be fully hand sanded down, hand carved, as well as hand put together. He does utilize a paintbrush style tail, which is thicker in some areas. One of the key things he explained to me was the paintbrush tail is just there to create more of that profile and use as a rudder system to actually help the bait move around, which is really unique way of thinking about it. A lot of builders go back and forth on hard plastic tails or paintbrush tails, and it's really hard for them to dial it in. But talking about specifically the lil bender here, again, just around like that 5 inches, perfect tiny little baitfish pattern, could represent a big threadfin, a small gizzard, a bluegill even, and all his baits are going to come in this just kind of standard white resin, and actually look really good once you get them exposed to the sun over time. They become kind of more of that typical looking bone, that yellowed bone, and it looks amazing, especially some of the older ones, his OG styles. Really cool. Another really unique thing, going back to the simplicity on these baits here, is that they just work so well with minimal movement. So this is the little bender, again, guys, just under that 1 ounce weight frame. And moving up here, we're going to talk about the one that I took on the water immediately after the show and absolutely crushed on him here. So this next one is going to be the Schmedium bender. So this Schmedium bender is going to come in at 6.5 inches, and it's also coming in around that 2.5 ounces. Now, one of the things Travis told me, if you know, this guy right here has won a lot of money in a lot of big tournaments. Unfortunately, guys, when it works really well, people don't like to talk about it. Again, going back to that paintbrush tail, each one is extremely different densities of the amount of actual paintbrush threads on the middle here. Sometimes there's more in the back. It's all tuned to swim perfectly right out of the box. Now, Another unique thing about his baits is they utilize a little more, I'm going to say blocky profile here to where it remains pretty consistent. You know, a lot of baits out there taper down the tail a lot, which eliminates some of the ease of moving them. This Schmedium bender, again, kind of that 2.5 ounce range, which is really easy to throw. You can throw it on a heavier jig rod a lot of the time. And also the hooks he's using right now, I believe he said these were the VMC size 2, and the split rings ultra strong, and the terminal he uses for the eyes and stuff ultra strong as well. I will note that his warranty, if it's a actual product defect, like the swivel comes out of here, or, you know, just the whole system and the joint falls apart, you know, obviously easily warrantyable. You can go through him, or you can go through us if you're local here and do like an over-the-counter trade, and we can get that taken care of for you. But the Schmedium bender, 2.5 ounces. It doesn't feel like 2.5 ounces. I will give it that it is that 6.5 inch range. Very, very easy to throw. And what I personally was throwing it on originally was this guy right here. This is the Leviathan Swimbaits Omega Heavy 8-foot rod, and this is made for 2 to 6 ounce glide bait. So this is at the lower end of what the bait it actually is, and what this can actually handle. Handled it really well. Being an 8-foot rod, I was able to absolutely launch it out there, but this being a rod that can handle up to 6 ounces felt a little big, but that is what I caught the fish on. 20-pound line, 20-pound fluorocarbon on a Lew's Super Duty 300. Full transparency. Probably not the rod I would normally use, but just the rod I had with me. I also threw this on the iScope, another Leviathan Swimbait rod in collaboration with John Shin. The iScope, 7'9", a little bit shorter, rated for 2 to 5 ounces, or really 1.5 to 5 ounces is kind of what I rate that one at. Perfect rod for this. Maybe a little bit stiff, a little bit fast, but overall handled it extremely well. If you're looking for other rods, the Schmedium bender was really designed around the 7.4 medium heavy outlier. This one specifically, I don't know what it is rated for. It looks like it's rated for 1/2 to 2 ounce, which is that kind of lower end, but being a treble hook bait, you got to think about it like this. If it's treble hook bait, you don't have to set the hook as hard. The rod just has to throw it. And let me tell you, the 7.4 outlier really throws it extremely, extremely easily. Being 7'4" also makes little flip casts or roll casts extremely easy as well. Now, another rod that I would highly recommend for that Schmedium bender is going to be the Swamp Survivor in the Orochi X10 lineup from Megabass. This is rated for, I believe, 1.5 to 3 ounces, or actually it's rated for 1/2 to 3 ounces. Each of the guides is double-footed all the way up. It uses a little bit bigger, more heavy style blank, has a nice soft tip section, which all of these rods that I just talked about have a pretty good softer tip section, able to throw these smaller style treble hook glide baits. So the Swamp Survivor, probably one of my favorite. Again, it is going to be that slower action. So as you work the bait, you're able to use that tip section to really make sure that fish gets the hook, set the hook, and not pull the hooks out of the fish's mouth. Schmedium bender, I mean, tested on the water. Literally only took 2 hours to get like a 5-pounder, and I mean, several more fish. Very simple, again, in its overall design, and it just works. You don't want to overwork this bait. What I learned was, instead of utilizing the tip section to make the bait work, all I had to do was turn, 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 slow turn, slow turn, slow turn. You get what I'm saying? You don't have to like chop your bait. You don't have to like move the rod around a lot. Literally just turn, turn, turn. And just that bait did everything you needed it to. I was able to really tune in just the real action and get that bait to full glide out, full glide out, full glide out, or chop, 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 just by utilizing the reel. I mean, literally, again, I was using a little heavier line, 18.8 or 20 pound, depending on the reel I had specifically, and it was incredible. Absolutely incredible to see how easy it worked compared to some other ones out there on the market. I'm going to be honest. A lot of some of those like ABS baits, you really got to make them work. These just do what they need to do. Moving on here, let's talk about the Schmedium Wake. So this is going to be on the same exact platform as that Schmedium we just talked about, the Schmedium Bender. And this Schmedium Wake here just utilizes a bill and another piece of joint. So it's going to have 2 joints, 3 segments, and I see it is a little overexposed here. So let me turn that down just a little bit. There you go, guys. So that guy right there, the Schmedium Bender, or Schmedium Wake, excuse me, again utilizing the bill right there. It isn't quite 90 degrees. It's still going to have a little bit of an angle, and that's going to allow it to get down right subsurface. And this guy actually floats, which is really neat. So this one right here, you're able to throw it out, literally let it sit, and you can barely slow crawl this, and it is going to look incredible. If you notice on the bend here, it isn't a just kind of roll over bend. This one is more of that 90 degrees, and I love how the middle section utilizes a lot more. So really that tail is going to move around extremely freely and allow this bait to really have a good head wobble and just overall movement. So that is the Schmedium Bender, and to be honest, guys, I don't throw a ton of wake baits. You know, a lot of the fish that I catch are typically on a straight glide or a line through style, but being able to throw it out here in the pond was extremely helpful to get me a really good idea of how this bait actually worked in the water. And let me tell you, if we had a lot of bass in here that would eat a wake bait, I'm sure they would eat it as well. Moving on to kind of that flagship big bait in Bentbill Custom Lures repertoire here, we are moving on to the Big Bender. Now this guy is big. Oh, I forgot to mention the Schmedium Bender is, or Schmedium Wake is going to be almost exactly the same as the Schmedium Bender, a little bit lighter. That is the only difference. So instead of 2.5, it's actually only going to be 2.3 ounces. Big Bender, big bait, 8.5 inches, 4.5 ounces. Again, utilizing all the cool stuff similar to the Schmedium and the Little Bender, just a little bit bigger package. Now, this guy right here, again, 8 inches, 4.5 ounces. You're going to need a little bit bigger rod. That 710 outlier is kind of, or 710 or 711 heavy was what this was built around. I would say, in terms of rods that I have in my arsenal right now, that extra heavy Leviathan is definitely going to be one to use with this, and the Anaconda from the X10 lineup is also going to be a great choice. Now, if you have your specific rod, guys, this is the same action, same killer action that you can get out of that Schmedium Bender. Literally just turn, let the bait do all the work. And that's what's incredible about this. You know, it's a bigger size. And again, going back to what I was saying earlier about the Schmedium, it's still thick. It's a thick boy. It has that bigger presence in the water. As those fish look at it from behind, it looks like a big target, and it gets their attention. So, guys, do me a big favor. Check out the Bentbill Custom Lures. These are going to be dropping next week. These are not going to go up this week, but now you know that we have them. I will release drop times over here. Look around here. Got drop times, and we can't wait to get these in your hands, guys. They are only available. We're the third or fourth retailer actually to actually have these. So very thankful to Travis and his partner for coming out here to the SBS show, showing us these on the water. Again, he brought all of his rods and stuff, and we were able to cast these out in the pond. It was really awesome. And guys, if you were to get one, this Schmedium Bender right here is incredible. Literally, I mean, I think my ideal setup, if I were to do it, would be that 7.4 outlier. I really do like that rod, and a 200 size reel. The the Daiwa Coastal 200. I love that one. That reel is really good at keeping the power going and just being super robust and smooth and easy casting. So, you know, weird crossover, Shimano Daiwa. That's me personally. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them down in the comments. We greatly appreciate it. And I can't wait for more of these to get in the shop, guys. We do have a small run, so over here, drop information, check it out, and we will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. See you guys.